Polish military has just announced that drone type objects that entered its airspace were shot down. These drone type objects did in fact originate from Russia. At this point, we don't know whether they had an intended target within Poland or whether or not they were intended to be targeted at Ukraine. This wouldn't be the first time that a missile or a drone has accidentally ended up in Poland. However, this is the first time that we're having reports up to a dozen or several dozen drones were in fact entering Polish airspace. NATO and Poland both activated their defenses, and it looks like they were successful at shooting them down. As far as we know right now, there are no reports of any attacks on the ground in Poland. Uh, Obviously, whenever you have a situation between a NATO country and Russia, this is going to bring up talks about Article 5. I don't think Russia at this point wants to risk an all out war with NATO. They can barely hang on with what they've got. Ukraine against a much smaller army. At this point, we just don't have a whole lot of details. But at some point, you wonder if Russia is still trying to test NATO, seeing what it can get away with NATO. They've pushed their boundaries, they've pushed the issue many, many times before in the past. And you wonder if this just isn't another test. And you wonder, okay, NATO, at what point are you going to stand up to this force and say, no, we're not going to put up with it anymore?